will miss it. If they are talking about us,
living in your head rent-free all this time.
we must be relevant. Radio Cayman since 1976.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk Today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome. Thanks very much for joining us. And as we start things off celebrating, the 10th anniversary, if it's your birthday of sobriety, of being in existence, or if it's just as we have the honor to celebrate with Health today, 10 years, well, their Chief Business Officer, Mr. Shomari Scott will be our guest. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard. And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks to Mr. Shomari Scott. As much as I joke and jest about our exploits on the basketball field, it's good to see, professionals coming to the one. Shomari, it's good to see. I
It's great to be here as always. Yeah. It's great to be here as always.
Have good fun with you, man.
You're looking extra young today. Looking extra slim.
That wasn't what you said before the break, man. Why don't you be honest?
No, man, I said you're looking distinguished. That you have this nice white gray in your eyebrows. You're looking great, man.
Yeah. Hey, don't worry, man.
I mean, it's a good thing you look distinguished.
I am. Hey, listen.
Because you are distinguished.
That's right. That's the way I look that way.
There we go.
I say that this year, right? And you and I, we have a good banter back and forth, and I think it's.
Well, I'm happy you haven't raised, the Lakers and what occurred last night. So I thank you. I thank you for that.
No, that's what she's like. You know what, man?
It's a good thing you didn't raise it.
Good thing that people like you.
Yes.
And one day you'll find a basketball team to follow.
No. I think it's time to go into rebuild mode, right? So
is that what
the LeBron chapter is over. He can go back where he came from. We can start over.
Start over?
Yeah.
Is that even possible?
That's how you mean. That we have the most championships ever in the NBA, because I'm counting the half a championship with the play-in tournament. So we have half a championship more than Boston now, right?
Can somebody call Joel for me, please? I think this guy needs therapy. But that's the banter that we have in life, right? Where through sport, we get
sport,
to
whatever. At the end of the day, you have one life to live. Live it well, enjoy life in whatever you find passion in. And between you and I, I know you can't fish, so between you and I, we'll find it in sports.
That's why I have brothers.
We'll find it in sports. I can't fish either, but I just thought I'd put that up.
No,
there.
I appreciate that. What they told me is the challenge is that I like to go catching.
I
mean, they'll be all day, they'll deep drop, they'll drift, they'll troll, or they'll just man. Let's go there. Let's get something. Come back. A man doesn't ever go home empty-handed.
That's why it never caught on for me. It was like I still remember the day that my father and grandfather was like, "No, we need you to come watch cricket." And to me it seemed like 21 days of watching cricket, and at the end they told me it was tied, and I was like, "That's it." Never happening again. I watched how many days for this to be a tie. I'm done.
And for people listening, this actually ties into what we're talking about. But cricket, is that really a sport?
Oh well, obviously it's a sport. I'm not going to say it isn't. You can go outside and have those sharpened teeth coming after you, but not me. See, of course,
this is why you are and forever will be a marketer, a diplomat, a guy who would sell ice to Eskimos on the coldest of days.
But you don't have to, right? When your product is great and the service is great, you don't have to sell anything. You just have to get people to taste it once, and they'll always come back, just like the Cayman Islands. Our repeat visitation rate is over 50%. Why? Mm-hmm. Because our job was just to get that person to taste it once, and we know you're going to come back 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 times, and that's all that's it.
And the setting, I will repeat what our friend said last season. It's just that first taste. Man.
That's it.
That's all it takes. Man.
That's it.
You'll be spitting after that, right?
and that's why it's exciting for us to be here today, Sterling. All banter aside, it's a joyful time because Health City has been here for 10 years. Mm-hmm. 10 years we've been able to save lives. 10 years we've been able to increase the value of individuals' lives, which when they have emergencies, if they weren't able to get access to a life-saving facility like ourselves, they would have had to previously be flown overseas. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, minutes matter, hours matter, and the quality of life, even if you're saved, wouldn't be as good as getting that intervention as quickly as possible. So we're here celebrating 10 years of an anniversary, and I still remember it like yesterday when I left the Department of Tourism, and people were saying, oh my goodness, Shomari has had a mental breakdown. Where is he going? All the way up East End, right? As if it's another country. For what? Medical? To do what? No. This can't be the case. Why would he be going? And then I still remember hearing some individuals that would have doubted the decision. And sure enough, 2 years later, you're hearing, I always knew that place was going to be successful, right? But that's how it goes, and that's what we like. In the end of the day, you see a vision, you understand why it's there, and I'll always remember Dr. Shetty telling me, because I asked him, I was like, how are you able to get such great physicians, such great people working with you? And he said, once you're doing God's work, great people will find you. He's like, I don't have to find people. Once they believe in the vision, all right, and once they understand what we're trying to do, great people always will find you. And that's the great thing about Health City, from the nurses to the technicians, the ICU, to doctors, to the admin staff. Great people always come in our path, want to be a part of the mission that we have and join. So to date, we have over, for instance, 1,000 children from underprivileged backgrounds that through various charitable organizations, obviously we give discounts, and we're doing the surgeries at a much reduced cost, even though the regular cost is much less than in the US. We do even further reduced costs so that they can raise money to come to us. And I'll always remember Dr. Shetty stating to us that, not to us, but specifically to myself when I went to meet him. I had to meet him at the airport. It took this is in India, when he was flying back from another state in India. And I was only there for 2 days and 3 nights. And he said before Health City started, I had to actually come and see what they were doing in India to really understand where we wanted to go. But he was meeting in another state in order to help the people in other states as well, politicians, to figure out how to give more access. And we were driving in a vehicle coming back, and he said, Shomari, what is it that you're doing right now to stay alive? I said, sorry, what do you mean? He's like, what are you breathing to stay alive? And here I am racking my brains. I was like, the air? He's like, yes, Shomari, it's not a trick question, but what in the air? So Mr. Tyler, God rest his soul, biology, back in high school, I had to go back, and I was like, oh, obviously the oxygen. He's like, yes. So you're breathing oxygen to be alive, but is that oxygen your reason for being? I said, so you're breathing oxygen to stay alive. but that isn't your reason for being. I was like, no, that isn't my reason for being. And then he said, I want to liken it to this hospital. We'll always need to make revenue in order to have the best equipment, in order to have the best doctors, the best nurses, the best admin staff. But at no point should you forget that your job right now is to bring the oxygen and the revenue into that building, right? Through insurance, through patients and the such. But that oxygen and that revenue that's coming into that building is never the reason for being, for why that building is there and why we're doing what we're doing. And we're doing it to help people. So he was showing that, this is a true testament to coming in a high enough cost jurisdiction, offering the highest level of medical care at a fraction of what it would cost in the U.S., but not giving on quality, having the best quality that we can have. And in doing so, and by being efficient, he's like, we're going to be able to save many more lives. I'm like, okay, explain that to me. And he said, okay, if in the U.S. there is a pediatric cardiac surgery that needs to happen, just based on the overheads and how those top-notch systems operate, it will take you at least, let's say, $100,000 at cost to save one baby's life. We are going to get it such that it really only costs you $10,000 to save that one baby's life. So if there's a charity that raises $100,000, if you go to the U.S., you can just save one life. If you raise $100,000 and you come here to the Cayman Islands, we're going to be able to save 10 babies' lives. And that's why we do what we do. And he's like, because at the end of the day, if you're giving things away for free very quickly, you can't afford the equipment, you start to run out of money and you're not going to be able to give the highest level. Mm-hmm. So you have to make it such that you're having revenue. But this is what we do, why we do. This is why we're always looking to strip cost out, keep the high level of care so that we can reach as many people as possible. And with charities such as Samaritan's Purse, Billy Graham's charity that goes into impoverished countries to help children that otherwise wouldn't have had that chance at life. With them being one of the major partners, we've actually saved over 1,000 kids across the Caribbean. We've had kids from Bolivia, Fiji, Mongolia, Kenya, all over the world. And even though they first started with South America coming to us, based on the Cayman kind of the people here, as well as obviously in the hospital as well, that's why they send their kids, even though it may be on the other side of the world, they're sending their kids specifically the Cayman Islands to be taken care of by our international team, to be taken care of obviously by our doctors, nurses, and we have great host families here that through the church, and you have to obviously go through like the darkness to light training and the such. They actually have the interpreter, the parent, or guardian, and the child with them for portions of their stay, and it really works well. And that's just one of the programs that we're really that really touches our heart and is really the core of our mission. And I know we'll speak about other things, but I just wanted to remind people of why we were here, what we're doing, and the visionary Dr. Shetty, and that 10 years later, we're here strong.
And that's where life is, We need to have a vision and a passion. As we go into the break, that example you gave, 100,000 versus 10,000, in terms of the numbers, we know the U.S. is an extremely high-cost jurisdiction when it comes to health care. What is it like for you guys? And is it 10,000 now? What is the actual cost?
Yeah, so in that instance? No, so I'll give you an example, right? So if you look at South Florida or New York, and you needed to have a bypass, as an example, a cardiac bypass, that will cost you anywhere upwards of 100,000, 150,000. If you're looking at places like New York, upwards of 200,000, and that same bypass will be able to do for anywhere around 32,000 U.S. We only speak in U.S., which obviously in CI is even less. And that just gives you, and you're getting the highest level of care for a fraction of the cost. I was giving another interview just this morning, and there's a Dr. Leon Josephs, who is a physician from the U.S., who was here at a conference, had a cardiac event, heart attack. Dr. Benoit, Dr. Ravi, we saved his life. And this would have been 7 years ago. And he was speaking about the fact that, you know, it's the quality of care, it's the compassion of the people. And because he is a vascular surgeon in Boston, he's now retired as of 2 years, but he was a vascular surgeon. He knows the cost, and he was blown away by what we were able to do from a quality perspective. They had an option to get on an air ambulance. His wife is a nurse by training, and she saw the quality and spoke to the doctors and understood the quality and said, no, he's in the right place where he needs to be to have this. And he's like, God works in mysterious ways, that he happened to be here. He was a very healthy man, exercised every day. But you have a small percentage of people that will have a sudden cardiac arrest, regardless of how healthy they are. And he fit in that category. And he was saying, you know what? There was a reason why he was here, and he was able to get to us so quickly, and that we were able to actually, and it was operate and save his life. And it actually just shows you the connectivity between 911, HSA, even at the Ritz, the AED, the gentleman who was there actually administered the AED to get him to us for us to do what we needed to do to save his life as well.
This is where I think that partnership and the community, the training, the value for life, the education, it comes into play. Shomari, when we come back, share with us more, because I think vision and passion is important. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square, and I got find my way to Barbados. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana, plus Barbados. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Hey Cayman, this is Pastor Ebanks. I want to invite you to come out and join us on Saturday, May 18th, 2024 for March for Jesus. I remember those events from years past, and I'm so happy we're doing them again. So join us on Saturday, May 18th, March for Jesus, celebrating our Lord Jesus Christ.
For more information, visit Christian.ky and click on the March for Jesus tab.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to inform its Cayman Bride customers that there will be temporary interruptions to water service in the upcoming week from Monday, April 29th to Friday, May 3rd, between the hours of 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on specified days. Affected streets include Bluff Boulevard, Ethel Rose Road, Bertrand Avenue, Savory Close, Valerie Avenue, Pioneer Lane, Southside Road West, unnamed road between Pioneer Lane and Lilies Lane, and Cemetery Road. Customers who will be affected will receive a door hanger notice, which will be delivered the day before service is scheduled to be interrupted. An additional door hanger notice will also be delivered upon restoration of water service. These service interruptions are to facilitate our ongoing leak detection project. The aim is to enhance our system's integrity by identifying and repairing all possible leaks. We advise customers to store enough water for personal use during service interruptions and limit the use of water-intensive appliances. For further information, customers may contact the customer service team in Cayman Brac by calling 948-1403 or emailing braccs@waterauthority.ky.
The Passport and Corporate Services Office is advising travelers to check their passports to ensure all is in order ahead of summer holiday travels. Travelers should check their passport validity, verify entry requirements for the destination, and apply for or renew passports and visas early. For more information, call 345-649-7678 or email passportandcorporate@gov.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks to Shomari Scott, the Chief Business Officer over at Health City. In 10 years, it's, think of a child. They're no longer in single digits, you know, it's the 10th birthday, anniversary of an employee at an organization or an entity celebrating, it's good. You've got a decade under your belt. It sounds even more. But many times, those 10 years are still in infancy. Whether it's a 10-year-old child or it's their marriage that is now 10. But a lot can happen in experience. So in that 10 years that you share with us, I really like the charitable nature. I didn't want to use that word, but the giving. I think, as you said, Dr. Shelley talked about the love, the purpose, the desire to just, honor your higher power through service.
Definitely.
All right. Tell us more, man. I mean, it's amazing.
And so infancy and being in Cayman, but the great thing about Health City is that we're coming from an institution that has the second number of beds in India, right? So we're pulling from medical professionals in a place that I think, as of right now, is the most populous country in the world. I think they call it China. That you're pulling from that place that's already known for medicine, that's already known for having great doctors, and you have the second largest private medical institution in that country. So we have over 40 hospitals and embedded units within India that you're pulling from to bring the best of the best here to the Cayman Islands. So the facility, and when I tell the story in the U.S. and as such, I would usually have a chart that a PowerPoint chart that would show you, a fully functioning hospital on the left side, and then just to give the imagery, an island, like a small island surrounded by water on the other side. And I'm saying what we did is that we picked up, right, in one hand and took a fully functioning hospital with all the doctors, with decades of experience, the nurses, the technicians, and you're able to bring it and drop it into an island state and give the level of health care that otherwise wouldn't be achieved. And it's the first time that I know of that type of scenario to actually happen. And because of when you have smaller island states with the population, they call it practicing medicine, right? The more you do, the better you get, right? And the fact that we would have had persons that would have done many cases and unique cases and seen everything, and you actually get that benefit right here in a small island state. It wouldn't be sustainable with the local population, and that's why the medical tourism component was important. So we see patients, I think it was as of year 3, we had seen patients from over 60 different countries. Anytime you go up to Health City, you'll see many different individuals from islands all over the Caribbean. We have 31 islands. We have contracts with the cruise lines, and they, in and of themselves, is self-insured. So for the crew members, you'll have a line that will have anywhere upwards of 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 crew members that they're looking for cost-effective, high-quality health care. Obviously, they have a lot of offices and such in the U.S., so they want to trust their employees to a high-quality system, knowing that they're very litigious in the U.S., and therefore Health City helps to fill that void because they know that they have the highest probability of a great outcome, as well as it's functional and it works, and the cost is such that it also helps them out in that regard as well. So we've seen patients from U.S., Canada, Central America, all over the Caribbean. There are certain countries within the Caribbean that have our version of Cynical, but across the board into the private sector as well. And they're able to actually have conversations with patients, and they can more or less choose. And because Health City over the years has done such a great job with a lot of their population, the word of mouth gets around, and they are coming in droves to Health City. Prior to us being here, there would be a lot of air ambulances that would actually leave and go overseas. And that's then the reverse now, where you have air ambulances that are coming in to bring patients from various countries to Health City. And Sterling, just want to, a lot of times people may not realize a lot of what we would have accomplished in those 10 years. So I'm going to just quickly go through. In 2014, obviously Health City opened, but we had our first cardiac bypass graft, so CABG as we would call it, in the Cayman Islands. We also had the first LVAD surgery in the Caribbean in 2014, and that's the artificial heart. So this is where, you are on that transplant list. You can't get a heart transplant. And this is the bridge towards that to help to keep you alive, because your functioning of the heart the pumping is going to be null and void very shortly. 2015, Golden Seal of Approval from Joint Commission International. And they even told us that's a big risk doing that in the first year. Usually you have 3 or 4 years before you do it. And we're like, no, we have various JCI accredited facilities in India. We have a lot of the quality team that's here, so we're ready. And sure enough, we got it in 2015. In 2016, first TAVI operation in the English-speaking Caribbean. 2016, first renal denervation in the Caribbean. And also 2016, first stroke thrombosis in the Cayman Islands. And then in 2017, so that would just be 3 years that we were in. It was the first ECMO patient in the Caribbean, which is a special type of machinery and procedure that takes your functions off of your organs and on a machine so that we can keep you alive while we figure out what's wrong with you, or if there are other operations that need to happen. So it keeps you alive because obviously, if your heart stops beating, if you're not getting the signals to your brain and the oxygen to your brain, then we know that you'll perish really quickly. So this makes sure to keep you alive while we figure it out. 2017, first Caribbean pentology of Cantrell surgery. So this is where you'll see the heart outside of the chest on children. This was actually putting the heart back inside of the chest and closing up the chest cavity. So I don't know if you've seen that before. You'll actually see the thin skin and the heart beating as well. That was the first that was done in the Caribbean. First awake craniotomy in the English-speaking Caribbean. So that's when you're awake. And due to where the tumor is, you need to be awake so that you can see if it's affecting your speech, your motor function. So somebody's awake while we're doing the brain surgery. So that's an awake craniotomy. And that was the first in the English-speaking Caribbean. First cryoablation in the Caribbean. 2017, first brain aneurysm clipping surgery in Cayman. 2017, first CCM device in the Caribbean. Then we come to 2018. First brain aneurysm coiling in Cayman, and that's from a neurosurgery perspective as well. 2018, first arthroscopic Latarjet surgery in the Caribbean, and that would be an orthopedic procedure. That we'll talk about that in detail on another program. Then we would come to obviously COVID 2020 and a lot of activity, and the fact that we had we make our own oxygen at Health City. So we were there just in case the country needed more oxygen. We had all of our beds ready. We had all of our doctors ready. Worked really well with the government hospital, HSA, as well as the government and other private facilities as well, to try and keep us as prepared as possible. And decisions that were taken, gratefully, we never needed the field hospital, but we were there and ready and prepared to help during COVID as well. And then 2021 is when we really started looking at how we could bring more care closer to individuals. So we opened our Cayman Brac clinic in 2021. We opened our Camana Bay clinic in 2021, knowing that 70% of the population live in the Georgetown and 7 Mile area, as well as West Bay. Even though, Bordentown is the largest growing district, still from a proportional perspective, 70% live there. And 95%, if not more, work on that side of the island during the day. So we understand people are busy, and we wanted to make sure to have that clinic so that people could gain access. 2022, groundbreaking of the new Health City in Camana Bay facility that will be ready in August of this year. We'll probably inaugurate in July. So because we want to give that 3 to 4 weeks that individuals can actually tour, because you won't be able to see, knock on wood, you don't want to be in the operating room after that, but obviously we will be there to help you. But we can bring kids through, we can bring organizations through, so you can see all of the equipment, see the labs, see the actual operating theaters, and we can explain to you how we're able to do things differently that leads to better quality outcomes as well as reducing cost. And you get to see it from the inside in those 4 weeks. The opening of the Camana Bay chemotherapy unit, once again bringing services closer to where people are, happened in 2022. And the Da Vinci robot, the first in the Caribbean, was actually in 2022 as well. And then in 2023, we had the opening of the Gene Thompson Radiotherapy Center, only in the Cayman Islands, which pinpoints cancer cells and more or less takes care of those specific cells and doesn't damage the good cells around as well. Typically, you would need to go overseas for that previously and spend weeks, if not months, overseas. Now you're able to get that right here at home. Voted Best Medical Facility in the Cayman Islands in 2023. We got the Enterprise Accreditation for the JCI, which is a part of a group. So we continuously get JCI, and that one was, the team was like, oh, we got to do this again. But the good thing is we have all the procedures and policies. So even though we as a standalone entity had just gotten our JCI, to be a part of the group JCI, which is a new process, and we would be the only in the Caribbean that's a part of the Enterprise Accreditation from JCI. That happened in 2023. Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, we entered a collaboration with them in 2023, and Dana-Farber is the medical research arm for Harvard. So just shows you the level of organization that they're like, yes, you're the type of entity that we want to partner with. And in 2024, we signed an agreement with Doctors Hospital, no affiliation to the one in Cayman, Bahamas, for complex off-island patient care for them to send to us here in, the population of the Bahamas. So that's the largest private facility in the Bahamas, and they have an arrangement for the tertiary care that they can't administer there to come to us here in the Cayman Islands. And we also obviously now are celebrating our 10 years of being here, as well as I mentioned in August, we should have our new Health City at Camana Bay facility open. That will be daycare, neonatology, other aspects of the cancer care will also be there. Day surgery and a whole realm of services will be right there in the Camana Bay Hospital. And then your longer stay ICUs and the such will still go to East End, but it will be a system that works well together to give highest level of healthcare in the Caribbean as a whole will be here in the Cayman Islands.
But between West Bay and East End is a shorter distance than Grand Cayman somewhere else.
100%.
All right. Final break of our discussion, and then we come back and we can share more. Please stay tuned.
This Mother's Day, Digicel wants to take you to brunch. We're giving away brunch vouchers for you and mom to enjoy a delightful feast together. Winning is easy. Simply activate the postpaid Supreme plan or the 30-day Prime Max plan, and you could be our lucky winner. Don't let the chance to treat mom to a special day out slip away. Visit your nearest Digicel store today or hop onto the My Digicel app for your shot at winning. Make this Mother's Day a memorable one with Digicel.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square, and I got find my way to Barbados. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what, though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana, plus Barbados. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
The Economics and Statistics Office is currently conducting the annual business surveys until June 14th. The surveys seek to collect information needed to answer these questions. How did the economy perform in 2023? In 2023, how much did foreign companies invest in the Cayman Islands? The surveys include all relevant entities that produce goods and services in the Cayman Islands. The surveys are confidential under the Statistics Act and are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your survey forms to the ESO. Remember, better data, better decisions, better business. For assistance in filling out the forms or for more information, visit www.eso.ky or call 244-4676 or 244-4600.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind?
And welcome back, and thanks to Mr. Shomari Scott, the Chief Business Officer. Some would say Mr. President when it comes to an organization. If I might, my interaction with a lot of your team members coming up there, you shared something that, in a sense, was glossed over. You're talking about the fantastic support staff, the nursing and the admin. Those are key. I liken it to going to a restaurant. The atmosphere is important, the food, but the two things that I think matter most is your dining companion, and if you're dining alone or not, the staff. Right. The way they present the food to you is not just how it looks on the plate, but they might give it to you and say, take this, or they might set it down. It might just be a piece of toast. Right. You feel that, and that's what's important. And not going to try, because I know I won't get it right, but a number of your team members, nurses in particular, phenomenal. Human beings.
Definitely. And it takes an entire team to make sure that you can give the quality product that you have, and it's throughout the hospital, right? Mm-hmm. And we, as I mentioned, like when you're doing great things, then great people find you. The fact that we also have a lot of great Caymanians that are working throughout the organization, some from the day one that we started. We have, you can think back to, and it may not have been day one, but within the critical first months and or a year, we still have Mr. Bush, Mr. Charles Bush with us. We have Miss Lanny McLaughlin. We have Mr. Grayson McLean. We have the names go on and on and on. Miss Francine, who is one remarkable lady that I still remember when we first opened and we were at Grand Pavilion. This is before the hospital was ready to go. Miss Francine was there, and she has followed us to East End, and she's originally from up there, so it worked perfectly for her. And she took a little bit of a hiatus for a year, and then she said, you know what, let me come right back to Health City. She thought she was going to retire, but but she's coming right back. But you're so right that we have a lot of great staff. And even the Dr. Benoit's, Dr. Ravi's, they will let you know that, my portion is just that 10-15%. The reason why our patients get better is because of the ICU care. It's because of the anesthesiology care. It's because of the nurses. It's because of all the other staff around really make that journey to getting that patient from X to Y to get better. It's because of all of those other components, and we're really proud to still be here 10 years later and to be going strong on one of the top brands in the Caribbean and even within Central America, whereby there was a Army, and I'm going to get the titles wrong, right? But he's a general in the Army or Armed Forces for Honduras, and obviously, it seems, and I'm told, that the armed forces general, they're akin in regards to their responsibilities to like the president, because you have the president as well, but you have that other arm. And the facility they chose to save his life when it came that it was a serious situation was Health City. And they got him to us, and we were able to actually operate and save him. And he was like the second in charge, and he was due to become in charge a few months later. And it would have been last December, he invited Dr. Benoit and our team to go there so that they could be a part of watching him actually become the top individual in the armed forces. And that's just due to the fact that he was so grateful for what we were able to do. So there are many stories like that, many lives saved. But we're just happy to be here, just happy to be doing the work that we're doing. I remember when I first started, because I was director of tourism, I could speak to other directors of tourism or ministers of tourism in the other islands so that they would speak to their colleague, who's a minister of health, and say, listen, you need to listen to this presentation. These are good people, listen to them, see what he has to say. And I would go into a room cold where nobody knew who we were. And yes, they were listening, and I would have to tell them, Dr. Shetty was Mother Teresa's physician. And all of a sudden, you can see the attention come, full focus on what we were saying. To a year later, whereby you walk into rooms and they're like, wait, aren't you the guys that actually did the Pentrell of Cantrell, the actual surgery where you put the baby's heart back in it? Wait, aren't you the guys that did the first artificial heart and the LVAD? Wait, aren't you the guys? So, those stories kept rolling on and on based on what we were doing from a brand perspective, that now it's come to the point where other countries are asking, can you bring Health City here? Yeah. Can you, and we'll help. There'll never be another Health City like we have, because this is the mothership here in the Cayman Islands, but we'll definitely help our brothers and sisters in the other Caribbean islands where we can. Yeah.
And I want to invite you and others back, and I appreciate this partnership in a sense, right? You guys sponsor this, and for me, it speaks to Cayman, the brand, Cayman, the infrastructure, and the fact that we can now have confidence in our jurisdiction, our economy, our people, that we have significant investment, not just a financial commitment, because money is money, right? But it's people.
Yes.
And the people that are willing to come here, let us as a country recognize the importance of keeping them safe.
Yes.
While they travel, while they visit, while they live, while they're serviced from health and otherwise. So, Shomari, thanks, man. Congrats to
thank
you
you
and
as
the team.
always. Thank you as always.
We'll catch up soon.
And I need to see you on the basketball court. I'm in the over 40 league, you know.
So it's called in.
Yeah, you're on my team, obviously.
How did the game go on Saturday?
We won. How do you mean? You had to win, do or die. So this Saturday,
I warmed them up for you.
Last game if we win this Saturday, then we go to the finals.
Before you go, you tell me about it and we'll come. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
With your latest headlines, I'm April Cummings. Pedro St. James and the Cayman Islands Further Education Center, CIFEC, collaborate for Revamping Pedro, a 3-week project to do just that as part of CIFEC's Assured Certificate in Construction Technician program. The students work to restore the castle's antique furniture to its original grandeur, with particular attention given to internal and external walls, wooden panels, antique furniture, doors, and ironmongery. In international headlines, dozens of protesters took over a building at Columbia University in New York early today, barricading entrances and unfurling a Palestinian flag from a window in the latest escalation of the demonstrations against the Israel-Hamas war on college campuses across the U.S. As ceasefire negotiations appeared to gain steam today, it was not clear whether those talks would inspire campus protesters to ease their efforts. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration will move to reclassify marijuana as a less dangerous drug. The Associated Press has learned a historic shift to generations of American drug policy that could have wide ripple effects across that nation. The DEA's proposal, which still must be reviewed by the White House Office of Management and Budget, would recognize the medical uses of cannabis and acknowledge that it has less potential for abuse than some of the nation's most dangerous drugs. However, it would not legalize marijuana outright for recreational use. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
The Health Services Authority has over 120 world-class physicians offering the most comprehensive range of specialist services on island. Our dedicated team of professionals provide the highest quality care in orthopedics, interventional radiology, women's health, geriatrics, and a host of other specialist areas. We are a JCI accredited organization with a proven record of excellence. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you. For more information, visit hsa.ky.
Born in Creek, Cayman Brac on the 25th of September 1939, Henry Mansfield Connolly was the third of 8 children for Henry Kitchener and Olive Connolly. Following a 30-year career with National Bulk Carriers, he was one of few Brackers who worked with Cayman Energy Company doing the ship-to-ship oil transfers off the island in the 1980s. Following a medical injury, he retired from sea and started his own plumbing engineer company, C&H Plumbing, which he owned for 16 years. Prior to relocating to Grand Cayman, he was a volunteer during hurricane emergencies, assisting with the safety of the elderly in his district. Mr. Connolly was one of the original band members of the famous Brac Beach Boys, a member of the Sister Islands Veterans and Seaman Society, and also a member of the Seafarers Association on Grand Cayman. In 2003, he was one of 500 Seamen Medal honorees for their contribution to the Southwell years.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square, and I got find my way to Barbados. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana, plus Barbados. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
If you're a parent, you know that providing your child with a quality early childhood education can be expensive. However, the Ministry of Education offers financial assistance through its Early Childhood Assistance Program to help qualifying Caymanian families cover the costs at registered early childhood settings. Visit our online application portal at moeapplications.gov.ky to learn more and get started. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. There's something fantastic every weekend, and this weekend in particular, if you like Watercraft. He's not here physically, but gents and a wonderful Miss Kelsey. I can't think of Watercraft and not think of Don Patrick. The legendary Don.
The legend. He still helps out a lot, though.
Yeah,
so he's still behind the
scenes. He's the man. I mean, I admire him. And, I won't talk too much of the school, but I'm inspired by him. And I only use that as an example because you see how consistency, commitment can carry us through as a community to ensure that there is a level of success that just transcends our borders, whether we go to Havasu or whether it's just off the coast of South Sound. It's all good.
For sure.
I didn't get a chance, to call him Mr. President. Mr. Shomari was here because he's the Chief Business Officer for Health City. But I can say, Mr. President, to you and Ethan, welcome. But tell us, Johathan, how?
Thank you.
Well, please introduce yourself, and we'll get people excited about this weekend.
So my name is Johathan Crossan, also aka white boy in the racing scene, from jet skis to cars to everything. And took on the presidency this year. Was voted in. I'm not racing, and wanted to continue the sport and continue something for the young riders that future and present riders can enjoy, and also do something for the community that the older riders had done for us, and keep the sport going.
Yeah, man. It is a fantastic sport. There's a recreational aspect, but I think if you've not gotten on, the craft and take that machine as what it can do, I think it's akin to, being a Formula 1 race car driver. Right, Mr. McLean? Welcome on. Intro yourself, my friend.
Hi, my name is Nathan McLean. Been racing jet skis for a good while now.
Since he was born. No.
A good while now. But I take what you said really, really well, in terms of it being as close to Formula 1. Not everyone can do that, but it's something that I really enjoy watching. So when I'm on the water, it definitely gives me a sense of not just adrenaline, but peace too, man. It's very, very grounding.
That's it, the peace. And what I like, those are in my circle. They take it serious, their safety, but the safety of others around them. Now, for you, if I might ask, what's your top speed in your respective crafts?
Top secret.
Okay.
No.
I mean, now the crafts have gotten crazy fast. I mean, the novice guys are doing 81, 82. The pro guys, 85 to 88. I mean, it's getting crazy.
And the reason why I asked that, right? Anybody in the craft, if you're skiing, if you're on a boat and you're going, let's say 40 plus, you recognize that water becomes almost like a solid surface if you hit. When Don and my brothers and them were boring out the cylinders and trying different things, and we were getting 38, 42, we hit 56, and you felt like and then when you hit 71, and that's stop compared to what someone doing.
That's bone stock right out of the box.
Right? And that evolution, but it also means that you as the rider, what your body must be able to do, your conditioning, and to watch the people training, you think, are you in the Olympics? In a sense, you have to be physically and mentally prepared. So take us through that, because this is an exciting time for those who haven't heard the word of that craft as it whisks across the waves. I mean, that's amazing.
But yeah, I can let Nathan jump on that. He actually zoned in. I think it was last race or the race before. Yeah, it was last race where he zoned in and you really saw him, fitness come into play with riding skill, but also the fitness aspect of it, where guys were kind of getting a little tired and he was tracking everybody down and really showed the work and the effort that he put in the off season before jumping on that craft.
If you would, because I think for me, as I was too many times when it comes to sports, I liken it to academics. If in the off season you don't stay fit and sharp in your skills, you're not as good as competitive. If during the summer you're not reading and doing your math and doing other things, when school starts back in September, you may be a little lethargic. Your brain may be a little bit foggy. All right, is it just me?
No, you're sorry, you're exactly right. There's that saying, right? Success is where preparation meets opportunity. So if you don't prepare, then you kind of setting yourself on the back foot from the beginning. And when it comes to like jet ski racing, I think there's like a common misconception that, especially from folks like the layman who will go out there on a Sunday on a rental or something, and you're doing, you're just out there cruising, like it's comfortable, it's not that hard, but it really is when we're kind of like pushing these skis to their limit. It is very, very physically demanding, extremely physically demanding, and mentally as well. So you need to really be. I mean, for me, I spend a lot of time in the gym, and that's like doing a mix of strength and endurance training. You also need solid grip strength, which is something like if you aren't consciously trying to develop, you don't necessarily have. And then it's honing your racecraft too, and you just kind of have to either get seat time, or you can also do research from watching other forms of motorsport and your old races and stuff like that. So
I like how we call it seat time. Johathan, before I ask you a little bit more, for those who don't know about the Watercraft Association, tell us. But respectfully, Miss Kelsey, we want to invite you. I know you shared that you just here to make sure we behave.
Yes.
Good luck on that. Welcome. I mean, please share with us.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for reaching out and for us. I love this. I trust me, this is good fun. This is a better sound than some things I hear in some spaces. But your role as VP of Marketing, anything you want to share in particular?
Yeah, well, it's new for me this year, but so our goal is to just try and get the word out about the races, to get spectators there, and then also to provide exposure to the riders. So we want to big them up.
And I'll add to that is that the team that's come on board with marketing and our Instagram and stuff, it's been a tremendous leap with Kelsey coming on board, and it's given us a lot of exposure.
Yes,
and helped us
Leela also
gain sponsorships and help from government and stuff. So it seems like she's downplaying as a small role, but I mean it's been huge. And just with me becoming on president is able to say, hey Kelsey, this is your role, take care. I don't even need to talk about it after.
I'd also just like to add in, because like you said, you kind of downplaying it a little bit. Kelsey has been around the race scene for years, right? And she's been like a staple, like a furniture at every race, honestly. And normally she's out there like snapping some of the best photos like ever, like action shots, but it's just that passion is there. So it's good. Good that
Thank you.
Thank you guys for
Thank you.
And I'm so glad they shared that, because I think sometimes we don't see what goes on behind the scenes. Both you, for those listening, didn't perhaps sufficiently tout it, but hopefully we're listening. If you want to succeed, you got to put in the work. And Kelsey, they're right. What you do, for my friends who are photographers or whether it's a hobby or professional, those shots, it just don't happen. You watch them looking at a bird for what seems like days. Finally, you get a picture. You have to be invested in it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like what you said was, I just remember too. Was it the year before last? Jet around. You got into the helicopter on your own volition and went around taking photos.
Those are the best pictures I ever got from my jet skiing career.
That was just you just wanted.
Was that the one where you were rappelling down as you took the pictures?
No,
that was you.
No, I won't be doing that.
I thought it was her upside down coming out.
Next year.
No thanks.
You know what? It never can tell. But I still have to share that this is where the teamwork comes in. The individual camps who are out to compete, to the sponsors, to the spectators. It's what makes it. I reference Havasu. And in the Cayman context, sometimes we sell ourselves short. We undervalue what we have, and yet our riders can go international, our athletes, our academics, our artists, and yet in our own shows, we just dismiss them and disrespect them. And I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I'm asking us, look, the guy next door who's the son, of your classmate could be the next, Michael Jordan, could be the next, well, if you don't mind, the next J.J. McLean.
Yeah, no, that's a fair shout. That's a fair shout.
Again, those are the people who should inspire and cause us to excel. Close your ears, Miss Kelsey, but someone said to me, the minute, should I say, the minute you start to excel, people start to spreadsheet.
Yeah.
That's why you need to make a PowerPoint. That was not bad, right?
That's not a solid. That's a solid dad joke. That's pretty good.
But it is, right? So, Mr. President, with that, if you just riding as a tandem rider, if you just rented a craft or if you borrow from a friend, they're different. But safety in everything is paramount. Two things. Tell us about the Cayman Watercraft Association. And tell us specifically about the safety aspect from the riders, but also the spectators.
So from Cayman Islands Watercraft Association, obviously we're a nonprofit organization. We're here to provide races, not only provide races from our association, but sanction other races. So, if someone wants to put on a race in Northside, we're there to help, providing marshals, providing safety team, liaison with the fire marshals, and keeping safety as you touched on before is paramount for us. We have a great team. Seth, who was a former racer, has come on board this year and heading the marshal team, and talk about someone that's taken a role very serious. He has meetings with the marshals. He's setting up the courses. And so just having former riders come back to the sport is awesome, because it's hard to say to someone, hey, you're going to be in charge of safety, but you're not on the water. You're not used to racing. And so those roles have now been filled, and we're able to provide a very safe environment with the fire service, head marshals on the water, and bringing in Mike Young, who is an international commentator for IGSBA, for P1. So his eyes on the water and helping us set the race course and stuff has been a big help also.
And this is where, as I look at it, and for me in everything, I'm trying to find opportunities for us, either as professionals in the sport, as those who may see sort of the ancillary, the commentators, to the marketers, to the sponsors, to the people who can look at it and go beyond. We need the technicians for the craft. I mean, pitching your prop in such a way that it doesn't have that zing, but yet has a zoom. And it makes a difference.
Too, man.
No, boy,
been around.
Boy, if you see that too loudly, people may believe you. But it is what I've come to expect of us, right? Our maritime heritage is rich. And the fact that we could leave here, our fathers and grandfathers, and leave as people without any kind of primary school education to come back as chief engineers and chief bosun to captains. It just shows you that you have it. And to watch you guys race, there's a joy, man.
It's awesome for you touching on that point. I know it's not a point that we're looking to touch on, but what it's not just a rider. So Nathan is a racer.
Yeah.
It's not just him. If you look underneath the tent, there's a mechanic, there's the guy that fills the fuel, there's the guy that pushes it off the ski, off the trailer. There's a person, when we get into holding starts, you need 2 holders. So it is a team, which then becomes a family. And what I tell people all the time, if I get all these kids addicted to racing, they don't have time for drinking or drugs. Let's get them addicted to something fun,
And thank you. I mean, it's not what we touch on, but I think sometimes as parents, and with the greatest respect as adults, we may not tell young people the mischief that we got up to, or in the local parlance, the little badness we did. But had we had, a more sort of healthier perspective, guidance, we may not have done it. Thank God we didn't get into some of the things. But those young people now who may have an interest in mechanics, or who may not even know, can be a part of this team. Your success at the podium is because of the guy who may not hold the craft for a nanosecond too long. 100%. He lets it go. That makes a difference.
100%.
Right? So with that, the other part is we sometimes don't appreciate that this thing is actually safe. And there's a lot that goes into it to make everybody safe. Can you emphasize that a little bit more those who know, but those who don't maybe.
Yeah, like I said, we touched on it before, is with every event, we do have fire marshals, we have the ambulance, we have on deck at South Sound, and we have 4 marshals in the water, another marshal kind of on shore patrolling, and then South Sound, we try to make our events kind of family fun. It's not, you'd sometimes think of racing as, this adrenaline, this, kind of, aggressiveness. But if you really walk down the pits, if I walk to Nathan's tent and I say, yo, I need a drum of fuel. I'm low, I'll get back next week, or, I need something, I need a spark plug. He wants me in the water just as bad to beat me. Then, he doesn't want me off the racetrack. So it's a huge community, and we're trying to grow it. And like you talked before, is having those idols be the guys that are training on the bikes, going to the gym, racing, rather than, and the younger guys looking up to these guys is our goal.
Thank you for that, because sometimes we see the competition, but we don't understand the camaraderie. And that's because of the community that is created, so that, we want to be able to have the bragging rights, because you made it out on the course, and we beat you.
Exactly. You were there.
100%.
Not the fault.
The worst thing for me is an M2 victory. Like, I really, really appreciate it when everyone is at the starting line and makes it to the finish line, right? So.
And your craft was performing the very best. Before, if Ms. Kelsey wishes, talk about the sponsorship, but this weekend, I know I referenced it, we hinted at South Sound, but when, where, who wants to tell us where? Who wants to tell us why? When is it?
Oh, so it's Sunday, May 5th. The race starts at 11 o'clock, and it's at the South Sound dock. Yes.
And all we got to do is
All you got to do is show up. Yeah. Family, friends, bring everybody.
Wear a hat.
Yep.
And
Bring
good sunglasses.
Some good sunglasses, and there's food. So we have food out there from Murph's Kitchen. We have a surprise
sweet treat vendor
coming in for this one. So I'm watching my weight, but I have to touch it a little bit.
Save that for
yeah, that's the other thing too. Like a boxer going in the ring, you want to make weight. You want to be able to be at a certain team, because you don't want your craft just to have.
You don't want it too light.
Yeah, not too heavy either.
Not too heavy either. Yeah.
But then you also don't want that uncomfortableness as you move through the waves either. Right? It's so much that goes in. I'm honored that you would come and share with us, and I'm excited as people. But if I might, Mr. McLean, for some of us, it's innate excitement. It's the people we are around that encourage that and inspire. Maybe to you and then Mr. President. Did you always want to be this? Johathan talked about you were racing in the womb, but I heard stories that it was actually before that. But
actually, that's not a bad. That's a solid case, because it's my fault. No, but that's a solid case. But it wasn't before the womb, because I really have to thank my dad for our, kind of setting this path. When I was younger, I wasn't necessarily like, oh, I want to be a racer. But I've always had a competitive streak, and my father being a motorhead himself, and a bit of an adrenaline junkie, as you probably would know.
No, I haven't.
One day, this was in 1999. I was 6 years old. Unprovoked, he brought home 2 Yamaha Wave Runner 3s. They were by far not fast. They went, and
they were Yamahas.
You know what I mean? They went, and that was all it took. The first ride, I really enjoyed this, and from there it was just casually developing the passion for riding on Sundays, riding on Easter weekends, and getting to the point where I knew I'm comfortable enough to do this. And on top of that, I had like inspirations like my brother. Jordan JJ McLean, like you mentioned.
Did I mention him?
My cousin, Shane Noby Edwards, and all the likes of like Mr. Don and stuff like that. Because I was around the scene like with my brother racing, so I knew it was something that I felt like I could take a bite out of these guys.
And you have,
and he has,
and you have.
So yeah.
But thank you for sharing that, because this is where, for me, it's a joy. I have a friend who reminds me, I'm so good that people see good in people, and she says, you see that. And okay, so you got Nobi and you guys from that side of the island. And respect for the rest. It is the community, and if you have the family connection, I think that's why sometimes you see the mother who's a doctor or a lawyer, and the child being the same. That will sort of made from parent to child. and you can come out. Here's a great family event, a community to come out and to watch. If I don't mind, me calling you professionals who can hold their own internationally.
Thank you.
And who are committed, through their own passion to exercise a sense of discipline.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about being in the gym, he just crossed it over, but Johathan, you know what it takes to compete and to succeed at that level.
Yeah. And I think touching on the family once again, I keep going back to I have a family owned now. But the likes of his dad and Gary Whitaker and Don, Nobi, Vincent, all these guys is that's what kind of got me interested. You know what I mean? Where you would see them all kind of, they would call it under the neem tree working on the ultras, and I wasn't racing at that point, and I come over and see them. Wow, this is, it looked fun, it looked exciting, it was something else to do rather than going to Royal Palms or and so that kind of got me into it. And a funny story about Nathan's dad was with cars is when I saw we were racing the cars and JJ had R32 and his JJ said, "Dad, I launched the car and it sounds funny." He said, "I don't care what it sounds like. Launch it again." So those kind of stories kind of sit with you. Or with Gary when Gigi will come in, "Dad, the motor sounds weird," and he's like, "Well, you either go or blow." You know what I mean? So so it's nice to have those older gentlemen kind of pass it down, and that's where I've kind of said to myself, I want to keep it going for the younger guys, and I still think I have one more year in me next year to get back out there. So that's when I'm pushing for, just to get CIWA, kind of can run itself, and we've brought on a great team this year, like I said, with Seth, with Kelsey, with Layla, Ventisha, and everyone just kind of, Corey, Steven Chin, everyone just kind of does their own thing, but then comes together for the race. And so it's, you're not chasing around too many people, and and I also just, while we are here, is just take our hats off to Vincent, who started this, and then Chris Bodden, who kind of revived it and ran it to where we are now.
For sure.
And now we're able to be, getting some government sponsorship. We're getting a lot of traction, and it's just.
I think when we look at sports tourism, if that's what the marketers like to share, right? Or governments like to sponsor. Cayman has great water for that.
Oh, amazing!
Right? And we don't see that, and it's not just whether you're at Barcus or East End or South Sound. It doesn't have to be along 7 Mile Beach. It could even be in the Bracken Little Cayman.
Yeah.
And people will come.
Yeah.
And not just internationally, but we ourselves. And Kelsey, I think the gentlemen were, in a sense, commended for sharing what you do. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It makes a difference. Huh?
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Well, it takes a team, like John was saying. It takes a team. So.
And another thing, man, it's that team that comes together that makes the success that much more, delicious. And you reference DJ and the rest of them as, I'm thinking, how does Don feel? But come on, man, he's my friend. But that is what it is, and I'm excited for this weekend. I'm hoping. So a couple of things in closing, if I may ask. For those parents who want to encourage their children, for those others who have, I'm not sure, it looks fun, but how do we get involved?
Just shoot us a message, or come out. Like, we set up the racetrack on Saturdays. So if you're not sure, you're kind of one of those people that like, hey, I'm not 100% sure if I want to race, I'm not sure about buoys. Saturday we set up the track, and then we have a practice for 2 hours. You don't have to commit to racing on Sunday. Come out, Seth or myself are there, and we'll take you around, show you the rope, show you the track, and then let you go run some buoys and get comfortable.
When we were buying craft, they won a couple of $1,000. They were cheap. I mean, even the Cedos. Now, they're not cheap anymore. So
No.
I was going to ask you, I mean, for some of us who may not feel that we have the wherewithal financially to acquire one, or, how do we get involved? If we don't have a craft, can we get involved?
Yeah, I mean, so right now we have the natural aspirated class, which would be the better class. So you can utilize that ski. You can go to Run Point, Cayman on a weekend. Family can use it. It's not outrageously fast. So that would be the best starting point. Moving into next year, we're really trying to push something like a EX, a Spark class. A couple $1,000, you can buy a ski. You can get a used ski from, maybe Red Sail, and you can race that. But what I do want to say is, don't be nervous or scared to say, I don't have the right ski, I don't have the right equipment, it's not the fastest, because we do have a guy in the novice in the natural class is on a silver bullet, and every moto he starts in last, but because he's taking the time to learn to ride, he's pushing in the gym. He overtakes everybody, and he wins his class at the last race. So it just shows that that's why we love jet ski racing. Is it's not something that you can buy the best equipment, but you can't buy the rider. So you still have to do the work. You know, you can be out in front for 2 laps, but if you're not putting in the time, you will get past.
I'd like to just kind of echo that for sure. I think it's important for young kids who are going to be excited to get into it to understand that you don't rush to be the fastest guy out there. Take your time, develop your passion, develop your racecraft, and that's what's most important, and the speed will come. But I think that's my best advice for someone trying to get into it. Don't get so hung up on having the best equipment, as Johathan said, because that comes with a price tag usually. But just make sure that you're getting your seat time, and make sure that you kind of really just showing up and putting in your hours, right?
That's it, man. It's like what I say, is not just the dog in the fight, it's the fight in the dog.
And there is teams out there, I know, that are purchasing natural aspirated crafts and other jet skis that are looking for riders. So there is, people coming on board, more people coming into the sport and saying, hey, and want to touch on it is that this sport we have to remember that Caribbean men and women, young and old, we like motors. We like to go fast. We like to race. And so this is it's one of those sports that it's like, there's a lot of other sports on the island, but as Caymanian run, operated, and participated, Cayman Islands Watercraft Association is one of those special sports that we really have a lot of Caymanian input, and we need to keep it going because we like the excitement and the noise of the motor. So we got to keep that kind of going for the younger generation coming up.
For sure.
Yeah, I think this endeavor shows us both the ingenuity and the entrepreneurship that comes out, and for that person who is like tinkering engines, here's an opportunity to see how it goes on. As we close our discussion, Kelsey, you want to reference sponsors or anything you want to share with us? And perhaps, Mr. President, we give you final thoughts and the final invitation for Sunday. And admission fee, I think, is quite affordable. It's quite affordable. I'll tell you how much that is. I'll even sponsor 5 people.
1 tub of ice cream to me.
There you go. There you go.
All right. So, of course, we want to thank our riders for their dedication and their passion, the invaluable help from our sponsors, from our volunteers, and, of course, this support from our generous sponsors, which include Radio Cayman and Breeze FM, Ministry of Youth, Sports and Heritage, Ministry of Tourism and Ports, Car City, Cayman Islands Coast Guard, Cayman Islands Fire Service, Pepsi, Fast Signs, J&M Equipment, Party Animals, Seabreeze Charters and Jet Ski Rentals, Verdant Isles Farms, Health City Cayman, National Logistics, and Onshore IT.
And I hope for the next year, that'll increase threefold, and not just in sponsorship, spectatorship, but also, prospective riders. This is a fantastic sport. I feel like I'm in the presence of celebrities, man.
To the left.
to the left, to the left, to the right. No, but have not only a very safe, as I know you will be, but a very fun and enjoyable Sunday. And God's willing, I won't be the tallest in the stands, but I might be the loudest. Who knows?
Well, thank you, man. Look forward to seeing you out there.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks very much, Mr. President.
Thanks so much for having us.
All right. And to our listeners, this Sunday, South Sound Dock, who knows, nobody might show up. You never can tell you. He might even give autographs. All right, thanks again. To our listeners, join us after the next break.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
This Mother's Day, Digicel wants to take you to brunch. We're giving away brunch vouchers for you and mom to enjoy a delightful feast together. Winning is easy. Simply activate the postpaid Supreme plan or the 30-day Prime Max plan, and you could be our lucky winner. Don't let the chance to treat mom to a special day out slip away. Visit your nearest Digicel store today or hop onto the My Digicel app for your shot at winning. Make this Mother's Day a memorable one with Digicel.
Do you have a chronic illness? Are you a parent or guardian of a child with special health needs? Can you access healthcare services easily? We want to hear from you. From May 1st to May 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will be undertaking a public consultation to help inform Cayman's new National Health Strategy. Tell us about your experiences with healthcare across all 3 islands by emailing mohfeedback@gov.ky or by logging on to gov.ky/health-wellness and complete the survey.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square, and I got find my way to Barbados. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana, plus Barbados. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Rotary District Governor David Cacaldi, First Lady Christina, the Rotary community of the Cayman Islands, the people of the Cayman Islands welcome Rotary District Conference 2024 attendees to the Cayman Islands. 14 countries, over 10 islands, over the Northwest Caribbean, an intersection of service above self. Rotary District 7020. The fellowship, the innovation, the service to community, to the region, to the world. Welcome District Conference Cayman 2024. Rotary, create hope in the world.
Look ya, ever wondered why Cayman celebrates Emancipation Day in May instead of August? The Cayman Islands is one of the earliest Caribbean countries to abolish slavery. In fact, on the 3rd of May, 1835, a proclamation was read declaring that all slaves were immediately freed. Visit us at Where We From 345 on social media for more Emancipation Day facts. Brought to you by the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Heritage.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway.
Do you
Eat
have
fresh.
a chronic illness? Are you a parent or guardian of a child with special health needs? Can you access healthcare services easily? We want to hear from you. From May 1st to May 31st, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will be undertaking a public consultation to help inform Cayman's new National Health Strategy. Tell us about your experiences with healthcare across all 3 islands by emailing mohfeedback@gov.ky or by logging on to gov.ky/health-wellness and complete the survey.
In the tranquil beauty of the Cayman Islands, our island paradise, the Lions Club stands as guardians of our precious environment. Join the Lions Club of Cayman Brac in their mission to preserve the natural splendor of our island home. Together, let's take a stand against pollution, against deforestation, and against the erosion of our coastline. Let's embrace sustainable practices, conserve water, and reduce our carbon footprint. Together, we can ensure that our Cayman Islands remain a paradise. Let's protect our environment today for a greener, healthier tomorrow. An Earth Month message from the Lions and Leos of Cayman Brac.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back. And let me fix my headset. Huh. Susan, you see that? My head isn't as big as they say. Listen, let's love life and let's laugh and let's appreciate. And if you know you've not been around, the watercraft of personal watercraft of that nature, they are fun, and I'm glad that the Cayman Watercraft Association emphasizes safety. If you have been around racing of any kind, and let's say car racing, you'll recognize two things. Safety is a significant component simply because in the absence of such, it could be disastrous. But the other thing you'll see is that race car driver, for instance, is probably highly unlikely to see that person on the streets racing. They could probably be some of the safest drivers that you'll find. And when it comes to the personal watercraft, those guys put in a significant amount of time in physically and mentally preparing themselves through their regimen of exercise, but also their food choices, their lifestyle choices. You heard Johathan, the current president of the Cayman Watercraft Association, talk about being involved in the banter, the preparation, and as a result, it's a healthy outlet. They're not engaged in other activities, or if they are, perhaps not as frequently, or perhaps not in a way that it would be harmful or as harmful. But many times, just like the person playing a sport, whether that sport is on a field of 5 in basketball or 11 in football, or some of the other sports that may get me in trouble by saying not really sports if it's not football and basketball. Nah, just kidding. But in team sports or the individual endeavors, you find that athlete doing, making healthier choices about life. Not just what they eat and they exercise, but their sleep habits, their socializing and the like. Very much like those who are in racing, personal watercraft. So this Sunday at the South Sound Dock, 11 a.m., go, take your mentee, take your family, and enjoy it. It is something to behold if you haven't seen it. It's great fun, and I commend the continued emphasis on safety, the sort of partnership with the fire service and those guys over at the fire service. Awesome individuals. The Coast Guard equally as well. And this is a very, very strong, maritime community with significant history. It's open line. Let's take some calls. I could ask Miss Susan to whisper quietly to me if there was a topic that she heard either off air or otherwise that would make our people most intrigued that they would want to talk about. What would it be? Now, I'll share with you and you can guess whether she said it to me or not. That's between us. But what would that be? So in me asking her, by extension, I'm also asking you. What is that thing that you've been hearing the last week, the last month, perhaps the last couple of months, at the beginning of the year? What is that thing? Well, we have a call. Let's go to the phones. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Thank you, Dwayne. Thanks for taking my call. How are you today?
Excellent. How about yourself?
I'm good, thanks. Today I want to say something about land.
I want you to. For a minute there, I was, as you said today, I heard a song, Started Loving You Again. I thought that's where you were going to go, man.
Well, you see, when you talk about, you want to talk about land, and then it's not likely you want to say, I want to talk about loving you, because you don't love the land in that kind of way.
No, man. It's, but that's an important conversation, and don't know if you heard the question I asked first. What is that thing on people's minds, right? So you talk land. Let me hear from you.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I've got two things I want to talk about. There's an issue of strata fees as well as the issue of mortgages. And let me begin with the mortgage one, because I think that's the most important one. You remember some time back, if you were a bank and you lent money to anybody and they didn't pay, you had to go to court in order for you to sell. Like the bank had to go to court in order for them to sell, even if you had defaulted. And of course, the reason for that was because, they wanted to make sure there's no hanky-panky. Now, according to Section 75 of the Registered Land Law, it says that you can sell so long as you act in good faith and so long as you sell by public auction. It still says that up to now, by public auction. So there were two different court cases. One Grand Court judge said, no, you have to go to court to sell. The other one said, no, so long as you sell by public auction, you don't have to go to court. But then the issue became, if you sell through the CIWA website, is that a public auction under the law? So one judge said no, the other one said yes, but the Chief Justice settled it in the end, said, well, look, if you sell it publicly under the CIWA website, in terms of the true meaning of the law, that is a public auction. So it satisfies the requirement. Now, the problem with that, of course, is that it is very different from the way developed countries do it. Developed countries require that even if you default, that the matter should go to court so that the court can supervise the sale. And this is the thing that a lot of people were fighting to introduce in the Cayman Islands, and it was resisted by politicians and a lot of people, okay? So up to now, nothing has been done. I was involved myself with this with one MP since 2018. Nothing has happened up to now, but it looks like it went to the Law Reform Commission, and now they say that it might come to Parliament. But look at how many people have lost their homes.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the first thing. The second one is kind of new because I've only encountered that in the last few weeks. You know the way it is, like you are in a strata, and you default on your strata fees. Okay. Now, the understanding up to now has been that if you default on your strata fees, the strata cannot sell your apartment. Okay. And the reason they can't sell it without a court order is because there is no power in the strata titles legislation law, which gives the strata the right to sell. There is no provision in the strata bylaws, generally speaking, which gives the strata the right to sell, just to recover the strata fees. And the difference is because in the case of a mortgage, there is an inbuilt power to sell. It is already in the act as well. It is already in the mortgage. So that's why they found it easy to say, well, so long as you sell it publicly. But with the strata, you see, it's different. There is no equivalent power in the law or in the strata. But what I have found, and this is the important thing, I have found that there are people who are now trying to say, well, look, if you owe strata fees and you don't pay, the strata committee can authorize sale of your apartment without even a court order. Can you think how that will be alarming to the society?
To even have people with the audacity to consider that, and for people to be foolishly willing to accept it.
Exactly. And there's one particular case I'm aware of now. They are working with a particular lawyer and a particular member of a particular strata committee, and they are now, initially they went to court to try and get a court order to sell, but the magistrate said, look, I can't give you this order. But now they've decided, well, we are going to go behind, and if we can get the strata members to agree, then they can sign, and then we are going to sell. Yeah. And that is putting a lot of people in danger, because I know in Cayman, particularly following COVID and this and that, a lot of people were in arrears regarding strata.
Right.
And that is something that, I would encourage others who might be experienced that to call. And also the politicians who might be listening or their assistants to look into that, because it has become a loophole which they are trying to use. In other words, they are trying to use those special provisions relating to mortgages, which have got a different legal context. Right. They are now trying to bring it out in a situation where basically now they'll say that if you, for example, you might have that particular case I'm talking about, the apartment, I believe, is worth close to $500,000. And the judgment that the strata got was $10,000, but they want to sell a $500,000 apartment so that they can recover $10,000. Does it sound to you like they just want to recover $10,000? I am not.
So let me then ask you, under the straddle tells registration law, is it that a strata can enter your premises, lock you out, you're the owner, whether you own it outright or whether you're paying a loan to the bank, because of non-payment of strata fees? Can they do something to recover it? You've reminded us that they cannot force a sale, but can it lock you out of your place, rent it out, somehow put a lien on it in order to ensure that they either through garnishing your wages or otherwise, or just rented it directly, to take possession of it for that time to collect the arrears of strata?
Precisely, and that's a very good question, because with strata, what you will do is a strata is a debt. Okay,
right.
It is a debt. So your strata committee has got all the traditional things that you can do to recover a debt. They can, for example, go to court and say, well, look, we want a power to be able to, let the court order that the rentals from the property, if, for example, it is rented, if the rentals from the property will be garnished, okay?
Right.
Or to garnish some other income relating to the owner. In fact, that question is very important because there was a case, actually, it was called Brandon. It was a couple, actually, Brandon against Brandon, plus against the strata owners of the place they used to live in. They were in default. This is a 1994 case in Cayman. They failed for a little while to pay the strata fees, and then the strata committee wanted now to enter the premises, okay, and take it over. Okay, that's the way they put it in the case, to take it over. And what the court said when they looked at the Strata Titles Act and they looked at the bylaws, they said, no, you don't have a right to take it over. You would have to get a court order for that. And so there is already that protection within the law, but there are those who are trying to circumvent that and now claim that they can use those special provisions for mortgage to not even go to court and try to get like a payment plan or to have something else garnished, that they can just take it up there regardless of the amount that is owing, no court order, and take it over.
Right.
So that thing has to be looked at. They've got a right to recover, but they have to go to court and then they can get certain kinds of orders, but not just automatically be able and be able to do that. So,
okay.
Well, just as usual, just trying to engage with things in the community. I hope that will help some people. If there's anybody, for example, who is going through this problem, feel free to give them my number, and then maybe we can chat about it.
Indeed, man. And perhaps another conversation at some point, we gather that this may be part of the reason that the parliamentarians were being impressed to consider, when accessing the pension funds, to allow it for strata arrears to be repaid or paid up to date. But I gather from some that strata fees are also being taken into account when you go to the bank for a lending as part of your debt service ratio.
Okay. Yeah. So this is not just a theory. It is actually, even what you've mentioned now, I was not aware of. Yeah, that now makes it really, really important. And the fact that there is a request that they can use to pay strata fees, it shows that there are some people who have run probably into this problem, and I think it really needs to be taken care of in a more holistic way.
Yeah.
Thanks for mentioning that.
Yes, and thank you always for sharing. I mean, as you referenced the Cerebral issue, I think it was 10, 11 years ago, 2013 or thereabouts, that case that the Court of Appeal referenced Cerebral as a cartel.
Yes. Cereba it does good work, but it's a bit of a cartel. So I think the community has to be able to come together and see if we can find ways of balancing the interests of people in the society. People have to make a living, but people have to keep their homes, and some people are barely surviving.
Yeah, man. You just can't live to eat, right? You gotta eat to live as well. All right.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dwayne.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
I will take one more. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dwayne.
How are you today? How are you, man?
Okay, no. And you?
Very thankful. I strive to be both grateful and gracious.
Okay. Good encouragement, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Well, speaking about health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned before concerning a construction company on Norwest Point Road.
Right. You did, yes.
Which has 170 people hired on that site. And I was told that they're all paying for their health insurance on their own, and that their employer is not paying half. And with 170 employees, just say if they take $85 a month from their pay to pay for the whole of the health insurance,
Mm-hmm.
just say $85 a month for 170 employees, that is $177,000 a year. Just if they're taking out $85 a month.
Mm-hmm.
But if the employee is paying for, say, insurance for 2 children and a wife and himself, it's a lot higher. So government needs to investigate these companies, because as far as I believe, the majority of these companies in the Cayman Islands who are doing construction work, the majority of them, it's my belief that they're doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the employees are afraid to say anything because they're on a work permit.
Yeah. Now, you have referenced that, thankfully, on a number of occasions, just with us alone. Respectfully, have you directed that to the Department of Labor and Pensions, which I think that may fall under to some extent, as well as the Health Insurance Commission and others, to say, listen, you have heard this, and as a citizen, maybe this is something that you wanted to bring to their attention. Have you done any of that other than just call the talk show?
No, I'm not going that far, Dwayne. I'm not going that far. If I talk to a politician on this talk show, I will mention it. But I'm personally not going to no government building and doing it.
Okay.
Because let me tell you something, Dwayne.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that they're not hearing what I'm saying. It's not that they did not already hear what I said. The question is, why isn't the Immigration and the Labor Board Department down on top of these construction sites and investigating these things? You want to tell you why? Because they don't want to hire Caymanians. And that's the next reason why government doesn't have trade schools in this country. Because the government aren't interested in Caymanians being hired, or Caymanians starting their own construction businesses and hiring their own Caymanians. That's why they have given away billions of dollars worth of concessions and don't even have one professional trade school in this country. Almost $2 billion now worth of concessions they probably have given away. And not one trade school in this country. And then they're wondering why our young people getting in trouble. If they had trade schools to go to during the day instead of hanging up around places where they shouldn't be, they wouldn't be getting in trouble. And like the Auditor General said, all the concessions that the government has given away, the Caymanians have nothing to show for it. And even that they have ignored.
Well, I'm glad that you very consistently, reminding us, and I appreciate it, man. Before we take the news, anything else you want to share?
Thank you very much, Dwayne.
All right, thank you too, man. Have a great afternoon, okay? All right. With that, we'll pause, and when we return, perhaps to the caller's point, we want to weigh in and say, hey, as I asked, well, what is it that you've been hearing? Well, I wrote down the top 3, and I'll share it with you when I come back.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
With your headlines, I'm April Cummings. A delegation of Ministry of Education representatives led by the Premier and Minister for Education, the Honourable Julianne O'Connor-Conley, recently returned from a trip to Canada to bolster the Cayman Islands' early childhood care and education sector. The delegation focused on learning from Canada's leading practices in ECCE, particularly public-private partnership models, observing community-based support programs for vulnerable children and families, and potential student exchange programs and qualification pathways for aspiring early childhood educators. In international headlines, United Methodist delegates began making historic changes in their policies on sexuality today, voting without debate to reverse a series of anti-LGBTQ policies. The delegates voted to delete mandatory penalties for conducting same-sex marriages and to remove their denomination's bans on considering LGBTQ candidates for ministry and on funding for gay-friendly ministries. The 667 to 54 vote, coming during their legislative general conference, removes some of the scaffolding around the United Methodist Church's longstanding bans on LGBTQ-affirming policies regarding ordination, marriage, and funding. Regular mammograms to screen for breast cancer should start younger, at age 40. That, according to an influential U.S. task force. Women between the ages of 40 and 74 should get screened every other year, the group says. Previously, the task force had said that women could choose to start breast cancer screening as young as 40, with a stronger recommendation that they get exams every 2 years from age 50 to 74. The announcement today from the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force makes official a draft recommendation announced last year. The recommendations were published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
This Mother's Day, Digicel wants to take you to brunch. We're giving away brunch vouchers for you and Mom to enjoy a delightful feast together. Winning is easy. Simply activate the postpaid Supreme plan or the 30-day Prime Max plan, and you could be our lucky winner. Don't let the chance to treat Mom to a special day out slip away. Visit your nearest Digicel store today or hop onto the My Digicel app for your shot at winning. Make this Mother's Day a memorable one with Digicel.
Our rich and diverse natural environment is one of our most important assets. Strong coral reefs are our first line of defense against intense storm waves. Healthy seagrass beds and mangrove forests provide a nursery for the sea creatures we depend on, while our native forests stimulate our rain cycles and help to control inland flooding. Economic resilience requires environmental resilience.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. I have a caller in line. Let's go to the phones. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, not too bad.
I hope you're obviously not, 100% yet, but you will be shortly, right?
Yeah, with God's grace, I will.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Sterling, what happened at the glass house today?
I can tell you what I heard happen. I can tell you what I observed assembled across the thing, but that wouldn't be for my place to repeat without, necessarily. Tell me what you're hearing.
I'm not hearing too much. Just of some sort of, what do you call it, margin disturbance was at the glass house sometime in the morning hours. And not very much. That's a little clip of video here and there, and I can't tell you word for word because I would be just as much wrong as you are. But to say all of that, Sterling, you know for a fact that we tries are in their best to welcome everybody here and enjoy the little bit of honey and milk that we do have left here on this island. And Sterling, when we get people, I don't care where they're coming from, and I include my own Caymanians, where they come. I can't find the right words right now, Sterling, because to see where Cayman came from and where it's going, Sterling, it hurts to the core. I don't know why we got laws. I don't understand why we have a government. I don't understand why we got a police department. I don't understand why we got immigration. I don't understand. I'm not understanding nothing more about this country that we call the Cayman Island. It's an island, far them concerned, in a country. I don't know if it's a country or not, but we say Cayman Island's an island to me. We are surrounded by water. We can't swim, we drown. You know that, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, and Sterling, what I'm trying to say is that if we do not bring some of these things to a halt, Sterling, it's going to be a detrimental island. And there's going to be a lot of innocent people getting hurt unnecessary because we are all mixed up. Don't get me wrong now. All our nationalities are all mixed. But the fact of the matter is, we cannot help everybody in the way that they want to be helped.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people come here and say Cayman is prosperous this and prosperous that. Okay, Sterling, if you come for some of the milk and honey that very little is left, why can't you respect what you come and find? Why can't you enjoy it and let us all enjoy it together?
Mm-hmm.
You know, why is it that you think that your nose can only smell your cologne and you can't smell mine and say a good morning, a good evening, you know? Our voice not belongs to us, and our speech not belongs to us. God can take it any minute. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But to see that we are living in this environment as the years keep coming, it is not a pretty picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who is out there going to help try to bring back Cayman to some normalcy and some quietness and some peace and tranquility that we so raised up with. Because I remember hearing a government official came on, the premier, some years ago, stating that if we don't get with the program with the rest of the world, we will be left behind. Is this what they're calling left behind? Is this what they're calling it? Yeah. And is Sterling, I just call OC in regards to today, this organized crime, drug haul is going on in the Cayman Islands. People risking their lives coming here. $1 million worth of cocaine and ganja and so forth on our streets within the last year, apparently. Where is it? Where is it? How come when these guys come here with this stuff, how come they can't catch the culprit that is going to? Why are the officers are so eager to go out there and try to arrest the guy on the boat? Or try to take the drugs and take it to the police station, or wherever they may take it. I don't know, and you don't know, and we will never know. You're going to go hearsay, and hearsay can't go to court.
Mm-hmm.
They are so eager. If they really want to catch who these things is going to, why can't they just relax and enjoy the scenery at the location with the man with the drugs till the dealer come to pick it up?
Something that
It's not going to get any better if we can't catch the dealers. And I believe, God forgive me for judging, I believe that a lot of in police department and friends and so forth is involved in all of this drug. $1 million. You know how many homes that could have built for some of these poor people here in this island that are here destroying people's lives with drugs, young children, adults. You know?
I believe people listening to you would recognize the importance of us making sure that our communities are safe. And crime, I asked earlier, what are some of the things that people are talking about, the top 3 and whatever. And crime was there. And it wasn't just the notion of drugs and guns and the like, but just crime overall from the burglars. But what that speaks to in terms of personal safety, the cost to the community for, policing, for private security.
Sterling,
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Sterling, we got these meters on the road telling you how much you're doing. I don't know what the purpose for them. They're not helping nobody.
Yeah.
The police ain't getting no come again about tickets from what is on the meter. Apparently it's not being registered. So it's a waste of time to put them up there.
Well,
it's not doing anything.
One has to wonder sometimes if people are seeing that and just trying to find out how high, how fast
How
they can
high
go.
it can go. I saw a guy did it one morning, 65 miles an hour down for President Highway, and I'm like,
Yeah.
the road soon comes and then he better slow down.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, this morning
Or a corner's coming.
a particular vehicle crossed me and the thing registered. I'm sure I saw it accurately from that length, that distance, but it said 82, and that's miles per hour. Last evening going home, and this vehicle was doing 68. Now I'm not saying that some of us on the roads don't exceed the speed limit. We may be going 40, excess of 40 in a 40-mile zone, but we may be still under 50. Not that we're not exceeding the speed limit, but to drive at that high rate of speed, we have to question, what is the thinking? Is there any thinking?
And there's no thinking, Sterling. It's all about them and how hard they can push that pedal. They're not thinking about their lives or no one else on the street lives.
Yeah. I had an interesting conversation, and I asked the gentleman if he would come in. He said he's going to give it some thought. It stemmed from because of a few near misses that I think he's had recently. But
I had a lot of them.
Yeah, but I also think it also has now prompted him more so because a particular family member, as he related, just came within inches, as he puts it, and being seriously injured, all because of, his words, the stupidity of one particular driver just cutting into other traffic, right?
Yes.
And he sent me a PAHO report, and maybe afterwards I'll share. But the reason I have a bit of hesitation is that I'm not sure, and we do have a caller coming in on the WhatsApp, Ms. Susan. We can hopefully, with the WhatsApp calls only me can see it sometimes, unless she sees it. We have a WhatsApp call coming in. I think, do you see it? What's up? And and I think sometimes even on a personal level we may become so inflamed and emotive because of something that when we share it, it isn't as objective and impartial. And other times, people may not appreciate that what we're trying to say. And so with him, I understand his hesitation. But I'll speak to that perhaps a bit and see if he'll come on. But suffice it to say, you know what I mean?
Sterling, with everything happening right now that we're not pleased with in this island, people is scared to come out and talk. They're scared to try to help protect their neighbors, the streets, and so forth and so forth. I really don't know what we have much to lose when we don't try to help, try to keep our island safe and protect it as much as possible. And it's not about being blabbermouth or instigator, or if something is happening and it's real and it could affect down the line in a later date and time and whatever, be of some help.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let you go. But Sterling, out here don't even feel like it's the Cayman Islands. I don't know how you feel when you're driving and when you go to the stores, but it doesn't feel like this is Cayman. You only know the name Cayman right now. But the thing that is going on here, We don't have none of these emergency news breaks here and there because we don't have a decent TV station. Because the three that I see that they say belongs to government, they are constantly repeating the same thing over and over and over and over. Mm-hmm. Imagine we got to wait here on Facebook or this and that to get some more thing that's happening here in the island, and then people is saying, oh, it's not true, and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, election is coming up right around the corner, you could say, because what we going into the 5th month now? May is around the corner. Mm-hmm. And where is the politicians? Are they coming out asking us what our concerns are for our neighborhoods and what can we do to keep it safer and all that kind of good stuff? Mm-hmm. And I wait in Sterling. I ask the Lord to please let me see election day.
Mm-hmm. I pray He does you.
I got no big plans to do any voting if God keep my eyes open, and I know He will keep my eyes open. Can I trust Him?
Yes.
But in the house, Sterling.
But thank you.
Take care.
You take care and feel better. And it's always a pleasure to hear from you. And thank you for having that love, that passion. All right. All the best to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. As we go into the break, let's reflect on what the lady shared and understand that if we come together collectively, we can make a meaningful difference. Please join us after this break.
This Mother's Day, Digicel wants to take you to brunch. We're giving away brunch vouchers for you and Mom to enjoy a delightful feast together. Winning is easy. Simply activate the postpaid Supreme plan or the 30-day Prime Max plan, and you could be our lucky winner. Don't let the chance to treat Mom to a special day out slip away. Visit your nearest Digicel store today or hop onto the My Digicel app for your shot at winning. Make this Mother's Day a memorable one with Digicel.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments April 29th to May 5th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you are seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.portercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 949-9020.
Our climate is changing, and so is Cayman. Stronger and more frequent hurricanes, longer periods of drought, sea level rise, and higher temperatures are already impacting our communities. If we take nature into account before we act, we can harness nature's benefits and reduce the devastation caused by natural disasters. Because when we put nature front and center, nature can provide the solutions.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks to our very own, Joel Wilson for voicing that, what is on your mind, Cayman. He does it well. Well, we ask some people that question, in this open line for the 8 minutes or so remaining of today's program, and I will try. Probably because Susan is there, I probably don't have a choice. We'll end on time, I think. Not go too late, but like anything, you shouldn't rush. You should take your time. 949-837, 949-6990. You can WhatsApp call 925-32621. For those of you who've been in our studio, recognize that the vista that we have is the one that we create in our minds. And sometimes I see myself at the top, of the hill, looking down at the bay and anchored, close to the shore. It's my sailboat. It might only be, a little hobby cat, but hey, still mine, right? 949-837, 949-6990. If it's not Margot Bay, maybe it'll be some way. Who never knows? Could be Tobago. You never can tell. 949-837, 949-6990, as we welcome you. Now, we'd ask some individuals, and as we listen to the comments, what are some of the things the gentleman that called earlier referenced something, later they just called, did as well. The idea of crime. They meet the list. And that issue of land that the gentleman shared was something that we will share. But let's take this WhatsApp call. Hey, welcome. Thank you for calling. Buenas tardes, mi amigo.
Yeah, nothing but a Spanish to do though.
No. Well, if I know, let me be here because in absence of the fella being in the studio, I can't lead them astray. So thank you for calling, man. Talk to me.
Yeah, man, I wanted to call. I wanted to call in, right? Really to express a little concern that I have on the island. Actually, there's two of them.
Go right ahead.
It's traffic,
mm-hmm.
right? And illegal immigrants. And right, well, Trump would probably call them illegal aliens. But what I would like to talk about first is the Cuban immigrants that we have here, right?
Right.
And
but just for clarity, right? I don't want to cut you. I mean, Trump's reference, or that's the American terminology for the people who are not, because they call them resident aliens as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I personally don't take it insulting. Anything that we don't understand that we see coming from a horizon is an alien to me. But
right.
I say right with what we got going on here, and I hear the hate, the dislike of the Cuban immigrants and stuff like that, right? And I hear their frustration as well, which I can completely understand. But at the same time, I don't know how our government is helping us with this situation, because as far as I know, if a person is coming in on the island illegal, they should also consider that they've arrived illegally and they should have penalties for that, punishments for that. But apparently you can have a asylum that holds the peace between the two countries that we have here going on now, Cayman and Cuba. And me personally, I believe that we are at capacity now of helping, because we can barely even help ourselves. And the last thing I would like to see is a homeless facility on this island, because it's not necessary. We're not a poor country. We are the Cayman Islands, which is supposed to be like the richest in the Caribbean, according to them, and one of them at least. And I believe that there should be a better way, a better solution that they're dealing with the matter right now. We having these people that are in confusion that they have all rights to be here, regardless if they came in illegal or not. And I think that is a sign of disrespect, the fact that we are allowing them peacefully to do as they please. Because if that was a Cayman out there doing as they please too, in their own concern, we would have more than likely been castigated freely, because of course we are bound to our own laws. And there changes is nice. I like changes, right? But are we changing for a better? I don't know. We're not changing for ourselves, we're changing for others. And that's another thing that I want to bring up too with the traffic is another concern with that changes, right? Because we have people that are coming from other countries that where they are coming from, they have not even been able to afford to drive a vehicle, much less obtain a driver's license for any reason. And here they are coming to Cayman and, you know, getting the privilege to do so, and without respecting or considering our laws that we have here that we should continue by, because like we was talking about, you was talking
Be careful with losing you, right? I just step away from the mic. Yeah. All right. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, you hear me?
Yeah.
Hear me good now? That's probably the breeze.
Okay.
But yeah, what I'm saying is right is that we have people that they are considerably illiterate to me, because you can barely even talk with them through conversations without them understanding. They have to call you because they can't read. But these are the class of people that we are bringing in on the island, especially English speaking people. And yeah, we are not looking at bettering our island when we have Caymanians that have passed the government school criterias, I guess, to say workforce, but also they have Caymanians that I know are traumatized by life because of judgment and discrimination. And it's hard to find a job here in Cayman, especially as a Caymanian, a dysfunctional one as well. And mental health, no one really takes serious when it comes into mental health for a man. And when you can express yourself, no one really takes it serious, because I guess that your problems is not their problems, right?
Right. But I mean, how do we address that?
By listening. It's simple. We have the best listeners in the Caribbean here in this island alone, and nobody is listening, or at least they're listening, but they don't want to take accountable for any of the actions that are happening. Because you can go into the company. You can like what a previous one of your callers was talking about too, about the going to the actual, I guess, immigration or wherever it is that they should be addressed to. But with insurance and all this stuff, you can go to them and they'll say, oh, but they did it within the law. You know, like within the law. What you mean by within the law? You know, like when you can ask them those things, they start sounding ignorant because you do not understand. But it's not about don't understand. I believe that is the fact that they're finding excuses to protect these people that are in power.
Right.
Yeah. And one example about that is marijuana, because I don't know if that's forbidden to talk about here in this show, as for other shows that you can get banned for. But marijuana is a big issue on this island when it comes into the workforce. You know, you have people that are prescribed CBD and THC to use, and they would prefer to keep it pretty confidential, that they don't have to explain themselves with that because it's a mental situation, or maybe it's just a preference because you don't like to take antidepressants,
right,
or something you don't want to be on that is not natural. But you see, the discrimination right there is the fact that it's illegal, that they are allowed to discriminate people and reject them or refuse their application because of certain situations. You see, that's where we are going wrong on this island, and I still want to continue advocating to legalize marijuana for that reason and other reasons as well, because you're still allowing people to drink alcohol on the job sites and actually come into work or hangover, right? And then you can smoke your cigarettes. It's okay for that. Oh yeah, you can smoke cigarettes, but you can't smoke ganja. And then, you know, you can drink whiskey, but it's taboo for marijuana. Come on.
Yeah, man.
I have not heard more delusional conversations in my life than since 2020. Yeah, since COVID ever started, people have started to become delusional, and they are starting to use this Cayman kind as weaponizing against Caymanians. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. You know, I don't know if everyone else thinks the same way, but that's a conversation that people are just sensitive about.
Yeah, man. Well, listen,
I'm not so sensitive.
Yeah. Respect for that. I don't want to dismiss you, but can we pick up another time? And any quick last comments? All right. Appreciate it very
I
much.
just say that we all need to work together, you know?
Yeah.
We all need to work together. We need to be Cayman and Cayman kind to our Caymanians and others.
Yeah, man. We need to come together. And I appreciate you always inviting that, you know. So thank you very much, right? Talk to you soon. All right.
Yes, sir. All right.
Take care, man. All the best. All right, Miss Susan, where are we going? She says, home on the range. All right, thank you all very much. Please join Mr. Art for the record tomorrow morning and come back for more talk today after the midday news, as we invite you to stay tuned to all the Radio Cayman has to offer. Some of the best music. I mean, always. Even when Joel Wilson picks it. All the best to everybody. Laugh, you know, as you love and live, you know, as you like. But always remember, you know, kindness begets kindness. Until tomorrow, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.